This is BCB 106.6 FM.
Now, these are very challenging times for football teams at all levels of professional and semi-professional football in the UK, as clubs and leagues try to make sense of what constitutes the end of the season. Wednesday the 22nd of April was a very significant day for the National League in the UK. That's the clubs in the 5th and 6th tiers of English football, with the announcement by the board that there would be no more matches in any of the three leagues, including the National League North, in which Bradford Park Avenue play. This followed a vote by the clubs by a clear majority to end the season now. BCB's John Hebden spoke with Head of Football Operations at Bradford Park Avenue, Martin Knight, and asked him for his response to the National League decision.
I think as a club we're pleased. I mean, we voted, obviously 90% of the response was to postpone the season or the rest of the fixtures. Technically the season's not over because they still haven't resolved any promotion and relegation issues, but there'll be no more matches. And the reason I say that we're pleased about that is, look, first and foremost, we've got to make sure that in these very trying times that our fans, our staff and our players and everybody else involved in the club is as safe as we possibly can. And clearly, you know, a football stadium is a prime potential area for transmission of this virus. So from that point of view, we're pleased from a safety point of view. From a business point of view, what it enables us to do is plan, you know, because whilst there's uncertainty, if they voted to say we're going to continue playing and this was a firm date, we would have planned around that. The problem for all businesses, uncertainty is a very challenging circumstance for anybody because you don't know what you're doing, you know. And the cut-off that they've now made allows us to speak to players about their contracts that we've got currently, so that we can let them know what they're doing, so they can make plans for next season. We can start to make plans for next season. So there's a whole host of once you get some definitive resolution, you can then start to move forward because there's some clear defined path for you.
Yeah. So so yesterday's, or the announcement this week, made it clear there wouldn't be any more matches, but I believe that the precise details of how promotion and relegation are going to be decided still need to be discussed. But I would imagine that's fairly clear cut in the case of Bradford Park Avenue.
You would think so, wouldn't you? Because they suspended all the leagues and null and voided the games below us. Unfortunately, we still haven't had 100% definitive notice on that, so it's difficult for us as a club. You know, technically, there's nobody coming up because they have all of their results null and voided. So the assumption and theory would be that nobody would get relegated from National League North, and that's the assumption. That's the assumption we're working on, although we haven't had 100% official confirmation of that.
Okay, so that would be a really good footballing outcome, wouldn't it, for the club, given that season 1920s, in some contrast to previous years when actually, you know, the team's been, you know, on the edge of looking at playoffs maybe and promotion. It wasn't a good season, was it? So that would be great to sort of draw a line under that, do you think?
I think so. From a club point of view, look, there's a lot of turmoil during last year, which is one of the reasons I started having conversations with Gareth, and I don't know if you're aware, but Lewis Knight, who plays for Bradford Park Avenue, is also my son. So that's kind of my involvement from that point of view. But I think one of the really important things for the club, and I think where the fans can and really get some hope, is that we've got Mark and Danny back. I know I talked about them earlier, but they're an incredibly talented management team, and I think that when I look back at last season, we had more players than any other club. I think we fielded something like 38 different players throughout the season, which is nuts. If you look at when we've had those successful seasons, you know, Mark and Danny we were under Mark and Danny, they predominantly have like a nucleus of 15 or 16 players, and there's a consistency of selection, so the players know how they would play. There's a pattern to the way we play. When you go through 38 different players, you know, and there's no reflection on the individual players. It's difficult for them to gel. You know, when do I make a run? Who am I going to pass to? All of that kind of, you know what it's like when you work with someone for a long time. You can second guess what they're going to say and do, and it's the same for a footballer. So we had that instability on the playing side because we went through effectively 3 squads last year under 3 different managers. But I think moving forward, we've got the right people in charge. I'm very excited about working with Mark and Danny and listening to their ideas and helping them put together on a pitch a squad that we can be competitive with and that are exciting to watch.
And that was BCB's John Hebden talking to the new head of football operations at Bradford Park Avenue, following the league's decision last Wednesday to effectively halt the season.